Hey everyone, it's Jenny. Today I want to talk to you about whether vegans are allowed to have pets. Now, some of you might ask yourselves, why wouldn't vegans be allowed to have pets? I mean, vegans love animals, of course. They treat them well, so why wouldn't they be allowed to have pets? Well, it's not as simple as that, and we have to go deeper into the vegan philosophy to understand that, okay? Unfortunately, there are different opinions among vegans, okay? There are some vegans who say, yes, it is okay because we're taking the animals out of the animal shelters, we're providing them with a good home, we're giving them food, we're giving them love, okay? And then there's the other side, and they say it's wrong to own or possess an animal. An animal should not be property. It's wrong to use an animal for our purpose. And using an animal for our purpose also means walking your dog because you think it's fun, or feeding your guinea pigs because you think it's so cute when they eat. And you know, it's as simple as that. So I don't just mean going to the circus and looking at the elephants perform some stupid tricks, but it's just about owning the animal, because owning the animal gives you some sort of happiness and pleasure, and so you're using the animal for your purpose, technically. When I became a vegan, I already had my pets. I already had 2 dogs, a horse, 5 guinea pigs, so they were already there. And I started reading a lot about this topic, and recently I've been reading a lot about owning pets, being a vegan. There's a theory called abolitionism, and according to this theory, it's wrong for humans to own animals, okay? Animals should not be a property. There is an American philosopher, Tom Regan, who said that we shouldn't be thinking about making cages bigger, but we should be thinking about not having cages at all, about empty cages. That's what we should be thinking about, okay? Now, I think that in a perfect world, this is the way it should be, okay? Definitely, because pets, they are dependent on us. Some pets have been bred in such a way that they cannot provide for themselves anymore. If you send them out into the woods, like, I don't know, a Chihuahua, tell a Chihuahua to go hunt something. I think it's not going to be possible. My dogs, I'm not sure if they would be able to survive if I send them out into the woods. They would probably hunt some mice, but they don't have very thick fur, so in the winter they would probably die. So pets are very dependent on us, and that's very unnatural. Let's look at the life of a lion, for example. Lions are carnivores, and one day he gets hungry, obviously. He sees a couple of antelopes, he chases them, he kills one, he eats the antelope, and that's it. That's the end of the cycle, that's the end of the process, okay? And then a couple of days later, he does the same again. There's no dependency there. The antelope is not dependent on the lion, okay? The antelope is free and independent. The lion is dependent on the antelope, but it's not keeping the antelope in a cage for months and you know, depriving the antelope of its freedom just so that it can eat. So technically, it's wrong for humans to own an animal because it's unnatural, right? It is wrong. Now, we can't change the world from one day to the next. It's impossible. I'm not going to get rid of my pets just because I became a vegan, because if I got rid of my pets, I would increase their suffering because they are dependent on me. I need to feed them. I need to take care of them. I need to provide them with love and make sure that they get the opportunity to socialize with me or with other dogs, or in the case of my horse, with other horses. So I need to provide them with those basic needs, which they cannot provide for themselves anymore. If I gave them away, I don't know what would happen to them. My dogs would suffer because they're attached to me just as much as I'm attached to them. Horses they don't form such a strong bond with a human than dogs, but in any case, I try to give my pets the best life possible. I cannot let my horse free because it's impossible. Someone would catch the horse and, I don't know, drag it to the next stable. Now, is it right or wrong to own a pet and to use that pet for our entertainment? Okay, it's a very difficult question to answer. The thing is that nowadays we live in a world where animal shelters are full of animals because the breeding industry just keeps on breeding dogs, and there are just too many dogs on the market, and cats and other animals. So what happens? Animal shelters are full, and they have a miserable life because they cannot socialize with other animals. They're kept in a cage. They cannot form a bond with a human being, which is what they have learned to do in the process of domestication over hundreds, thousands of years. So is it okay to go to that animal shelter, rescue the animal, and give him a home? I think it is, because in my opinion, it's about reducing the suffering of an animal or preventing it. Obviously, there are a lot of people who do not treat their pets well. Pets have a lot of different needs. They don't only need to be fed, they need to have the chance to use their legs, to run, okay? They need to get the chance to socialize. I have 2 dogs, so they're always together. They always have each other. They're never alone. But when I go out into the forest or the park, they always play with other dogs, and they're very socialized. They love to play, to be with other dogs. And sometimes I just see some owners and they walk their dog, and they're always kept on a leash and they're never allowed to socialize with others. I mean, if that dog is dangerous, okay, I understand. But I don't know. It's just, dogs are social animals. They want to be able to socialize. So I think it's important that you teach your dog to be social and to socialize with other dogs. So that's one thing. Another thing is that a lot of people get dogs and then they are out of the house for 8 to 10 hours a day and they leave the dog alone. That's not an ideal situation either. It's probably better than if the dog stays at an animal shelter where he's just going to have a miserable life. It's still not an ideal situation. Fortunately, I work at home, so my dogs are always around me. They're never alone, basically. I always take them with me when I go to places. It's very rare that they have to stay at home by themselves, probably not even once a month. So I don't have that problem. Yes, so if the dog is alone 8 to 10 hours a day, it's not an ideal situation, but you can still reduce the suffering of your dog, because the dog is going to suffer in those 8 hours when he's not around you. We have to be realistic. But if you walk your dog in the morning and you really give him the chance to exercise, not only taking him outside to pee and then go back inside, and the same at night, because that's not taking care of your dog's basic needs. He needs to run, he needs to exercise, at least if it's a medium-sized or a bigger dog. So yeah, pet owners really need to take good care of their pets, and many pet owners don't do that. Now, what about horseback riding? Is it okay to ride horses? Well, this is another thing. In the horse industry, there are a lot of bad things happening. There's a lot of cruelty, a lot of violence. Horses are ridden when they're only 2 or 3 years old, when their bones are not fully developed yet, when they're not adults yet, because horses are fully grown and developed when they're 7 or 8 years old, not 2 or 3. And there are 2 or 3 year old horses that have to go on racetracks until their bones can't take it anymore and they collapse. They have to jump across huge obstacles. So I'm really against that. Using animals to compete in competitions, this is not something I support. I think that, yes, that contributes to the suffering of the animal. They have to be transported every weekend. They're at another competition. It stresses the horse because the horse has to go on a trailer. You have to drive to the competition. Then the horse is in a different environment. The horse doesn't know the environment. It's a lot of stress for the horse. So competitions with horses, it's not my thing. I don't support it. What about riding horses outside of competitions? Well, I think if the horse could choose, the horse would not choose for the rider to sit on its back. Okay, the horse would just choose to run around on the pasture and be happy. So, are we still allowed to ride the horse? There are methods that you can use, natural horsemanship methods, that do not use any violence, do not use any cruelty, do not use any sort of devices like spurs that hurt the horse. So there are ways to train a horse without using violence and cruelty and pain, okay? Sometimes I see the bits that horse owners put into their horse's mouth and I want to cry, because it's just like, it's basically a torturing instrument, okay? I'm currently training my horse, who's only 4 years old, with a natural horsemanship trainer, and we're going very slowly. We've been working with her for months, and we don't use any kind of violence or cruelty. And we respect the horse, and if the horse is having a bad day, we respect that. We don't ask as much of the horse than if the horse is having a good day, because it's a horse, it's not a machine. Now, into which direction am I going? Abolitionism, not owning animals because it's wrong, you know, not keeping them in cages because it's wrong, or am I going to the direction of improving animal welfare, okay, giving pets and animals a better life, okay? For sure, I'm going into the direction of animal welfare, because if I were to set my animals free, my pets, they wouldn't be able to survive because they're dependent on me now. They cannot survive on their own anymore, just because they have been bred for centuries to be dependent on humans. So the only option I have is focusing on animal welfare, giving my pets the best life that I can give them, okay? So my horse, for example, she's a mare, and she's together with other horses. She's in an outdoor stable. She's never inside. She's never stuck inside four walls. She's always outside with the other horses, running around in the pasture, socializing with other horses. And then sometimes I go to visit her. If she's sick, I treat her. And yeah, I think she's a pretty happy horse. I think she's one of the happiest horses out there. If I look at other stables and what other horse owners do to their horses, I think my horse is really well off. In another video, I will show you where my guinea pigs live. I don't have a cage for them that's covered by a grid, but they actually have a little stall with a lot of room to run. I have 1 male and 4 females. This is actually the way they would socialize in the wilderness. So there's always 1 male and several females. This is the most natural way to keep guinea pigs. This is also very important to me. So if you want to have guinea pigs, the best group to have is 1 male and several females. Probably the best number is 3, 4, or 5 females and 1 male, okay? So as you can see, I'm very concerned for my animals. I want them to have the best life possible. Giving the circumstances and the world that we live in, I have to make the best of it. And I want to reduce animal suffering. I'm not able to prevent animal suffering on this earth. Maybe in a couple hundred of years we will be there, but at this moment I can only improve the life of a small number of animals. And that's what you guys can do too. So I think if you're considering getting a dog or cat, take a look at your local animal shelter, go there and see if there's a dog or a cat whose life you can improve by taking him into your home. And do a lot of research and make sure to give that animal the best life possible and to reduce and prevent any kind of suffering that this animal has to go through, okay? So I know that was I was jumping all over the place, but it's a very emotional topic for me, and I hope I got my point across to you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in another video. Bye.